Projects like these, still on the drawing board, are aimed at tackling the growing problem of homelessness in Edmonton. That was before the downturn. Now, social organizations are reporting pressure from a fresh list of those driven to the brink. Demand for housing is now coupled with a more basic need for food. The brunt is being borne mostly by refugees, new immigrants and foreign temporary workers.
Before Christmas time, we saw the odd temporary foreign workers asking for assistance. After Christmas, we saw a huge increase in people asking for food bank.
We're having people that are turning to the food bank and other social service agencies that are been used to working full-time and those types of things. And also we're having more requests from our soup kitchens, shelters, and our other meal programs.
Sometimes these workers are flying into the country only to be told that the jobs they were hired for are no more. Despite the harsh reality of lost jobs and penniless purses, many of these workers are clinging on, unwilling to leave. The Mennonite Centre is finding itself unable to cope with many unforeseen circumstances like pregnancies, terminal illnesses, and reportedly the centre of late has had to pick up the phone to raise funds for such emergencies.
And the trouble comes if they have more complicated health problems, then they have to have money. They have to have money to pay for prescriptions and go for special testing. That's where we see a lot of problems. What we would like to see is some type of emergency funding for these people.
Institutions like the Mennonite Centre say they have neither the mandate nor the funds to reshape themselves so suddenly from institutions whose primary mandate, for example, was to help people understand the Canadian job market to what is required of them currently, which includes much more than food referrals. Even the food bank is feeling the pressure in this new kind of a situation.
Right now we're seeing a little bit challenged because it's the time of year when our food supplies traditionally go down, and right now we're having more people turn to us.
The clamour for reviewing the temporary foreign worker policy is gaining momentum again. Contract conditions like being tied to just one employer, as also differential clauses in work permits depending on the country of the worker, are being touted as adding to the problem of these temporary workers, especially during ongoing harsh economic times.
When you look at the restrictions and limitations we place on temporary foreign workers whenever we allow them into this country, they can only work for one employer, they can't take training and upgrading courses, they can't get a part-time job in the evenings. This is not fair. In some cases they don't even know their rights. It's not fair to treat any worker like this, and we have to stop this program.
Don Bergen at the Mennonite Centre admits that down the road there are likely social repercussions, especially with new immigrant families who even in normal times may have to work 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet.
I think right now we have quite a few landed immigrants that are not able to find employment. So I think we should try to work at using their skills, their qualifications, people that are residents here first, and get them employed before bringing in more people and not being able to really provide them with the support they need.
A March 2009 survey by the Calgary Chamber of Voluntary Organizations says that Edmonton-based charities and non-profits are facing a drop in earned income, corporate funding, as also government funding. This at a time when social services is seeing a near 71% increase in demand in services. This in turn will impact their ability to provide social services is perhaps a logical conclusion. Sunita Kaul, Omni News. Harjeet Judge is lucky. His diabetes got detected early. Today, with medication and regular exercise, he lives a normal life. Initially, he did not bother till it started to get problematic.
You have you are thirsty, you take so much water, or you go to washroom now and then. That's what happened to me, so I was going lots of to the washroom.
Many Canadians, especially from the South Asian community, are not that lucky. Diabetes, caused due to a combination of hereditary and environmental causes, is being labelled the silent disease of the 21st century.
A lot of people, when they have type 2 diabetes, which usually happens later on in life, won't have any symptoms at all. And the best way to figure out if they have it or not is to go visit their doctor and then to get a blood test. In the early stages, people can control it with diet and exercise. But if, as it gets progressively worse, the pancreas stops secreting more insulin. And at that time, diet and exercise don't do the trick.
Pharmacist Bhui warns that the disease is rampant in Canada, especially among South Asians. The lack of awareness about consequences is what the May 23rd Expo wants to eradicate. Bhui says that the disease is deadly as it progresses. Overall in Canada, there are about 2 million diabetics. Dr. Rai says that growing incidence of diabetes has implications for the health system of Canada.
It has a tremendous, effect on the healthcare system. We are right now spending very close to about $8 to $9 billion on the diabetes alone. As we are getting, more diabetics, there is always a risk of developing the complication. This disease affects a person like from head to toes, starting with the brain, the eyes, the heart, the kidneys, the peripheral blood vessels.
The warning here, prevention is better than cure. Sunita Kaul, Omni News, Edmonton. Symptoms, hypertension.